I am beautiful inside and out, delivered to me by Grow Coffee. Right then, tell me how you do it. That's what I had last week.
Shortcake.
Aye. Mine's just like, an alley cake. Right? But you're back. I was actually thinking that in the mind.
An Empire biscuit, sorry, it's not.
So before we go into anything else, right? So
What did you think about that?
it'll
It's a
probably
stress.
all 40 bits, man,
Yeah.
but it doesn't matter. It's still worth a go.
Yeah. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
When's the last time I ran down a hill?
That's it.
Hello, LinkedIn. Me again. Right, let's see if this is actually working, Alan. It looks to me like we are live.
I think
It
so.
says live end stream, so we'll see whether it works.
It's a good start.
So I'm sure Andrew will be on the message just now, just to say that we are live. He can hear us and see us okay. So welcome to today's LinkedIn live show, the late lunch show on a Friday afternoon from me, Jamie Burns. I'm currently sitting in sunny Nashville. And Alan, where are you today?
I'm in Edinburgh, at home in Edinburgh,
At home in
which is
Edinburgh.
nice.
So we'll see
Thanks for
whether the
having me.
technology actually works, and then we can get started. So let me see if we're getting anyone. Andrew coming in to say, Andrew, can you see us and can you hear us? Let me know via a message, please. So Alan and I have already been having a wee chat, and he just says he's raging that he's not get his Grow Coffee and his cake.
Very disappointed.
So don't worry, I shall take you to Grow for your breakfast when I get back, and that will make up for it.
I'll hold you to it. I like the idea.
Good. So today's coffee is sponsored by the Holiday Inn. So it is early bells here in America, so I'm coffeeed out my head, and thank you to the Holiday Inn for filling me full of coffee this morning. Right. I'm hoping people can see and hear us, but we'll just go anyway, Alan, right?
Sounds
And
like a
then
plan.
somebody can tell us if they can or they can't see or hear us. So yes, Alan is from SKF, and most of the people that we work with, because it's usually industrial environments, they will know who SKF are. But most people think SKF make and manufacture bearings and sell bearings, but you do a lot more than that, don't you?
We do indeed.
Yeah.
I think everybody's knows us for our bearings, but we had a lot of additional value, which we'll touch about today, which will be good.
Yeah, good. Because you work within the services division, don't you, Alan?
Yeah, that's right. There's different parts of SKF. So obviously bearings being the core business, we've been making them for well over 100 years, and we've built such a good brand around that. But we're much more, which we've discussed before, Jamie. We've got different avenues in terms of the lubrication systems. There's the sealing solutions division, and then there's the service division, which I sit under. And from a service perspective, there's a lot of different areas which we've touched on as well. So you've got the condition monitoring products, the hardware and software. We've then got the reliability services, so providing a remote diagnostic service or root cause failure analysis, this sort of stuff. Then there's the circular solutions, which is really interesting, covering remanufacturing of bearings. We've also got the reconned oil system that sits with J Thompson's, who you know as well, Jamie. So yeah, quite a large portfolio of areas, and looking forward to touching about it today.
Good stuff. Well, we've had the all good. So we've had the thumbs up to say that people can see us and hear us okay. I'll probably have to say to everybody, you'll probably notice I've got a new hairstyle since the last time I was on the show. My missus get annoyed with me and shaved off all my hair, so it's great fun.
Brilliant. I like it. You suit it.
So, thank you. She doesn't like it. She says it looks daft. But anyway, I don't care. I'm getting to that stage in my life now that I was thinning that much that I went, you know what? Now is the time. So we can see if anybody feeds back to say I look awesome or I look stupid. Right, so let's go into a wee bit more depth, Alan, in the services side of the business that you've got, because when I first, obviously I come up to look at to spend a bit of time with you on an innovation day that you're doing it when it was brilliant, and even though I knew quite a lot about your business, I still didn't realise that the depth of different solutions and technologies and things like that that SKF did. So talk a wee bit more about what they do in that services division and how it's all set up.
Yeah, so within services, it's really interesting, Jamie. So we've got the first pillar, which is the condition monitoring element of that, and that's where we start to look at the hardware and software. So from a hardware, we've got quite a lot of technology, whether it be from the entry level portables. So we've got the quick collect sensor. We've then got the more advanced data collector in terms of the Microlog DBX, which is sort of one of the new devices that came out in the last couple of years. We've also got a wireless solution in the IMX1. We've got a fixed online system, which is IMX 8 and 16s, but then we've also got a protection system. So it's quite a large offer that we've got when it comes to it. I think I've listened to one of your shows before and you talked about with customers, it's not one size fits all. And that's what we see it as well. And we've got a lot of different technology to be able to cover all those applications that our customers have. Right up to sort of bigger gas turbines, we've got the protection element as well. So that's one side of it. We've then got the software element in the background as well, which is really interesting. So we've got our Observers platform, which is a sort of more advanced monitoring tool. We've got Enlight Center for the entry level quick collect sensor. So that kind of covers the condition monitoring pillar, which is really interesting. And then in the background to that, we mentioned when you come up to the facility in Aberdeen. So we've got a remote diagnostic team made up of engineers throughout the UK, but also in each country around the world, we'll have a diagnostic team that can support. We don't really get involved with as much in the UK with the route-based stuff and the on-site presence like you guys at Ailsa do. But we're probably more support on the remote side. But we've also got the root cause failure analysis, which comes in really interesting, Jamie. So from the bearing perspective, if you've got failures, we can get those bearings out, get them back to SKF, and we've got a service centre down in Luton who can support us to do that deep dive analysis. So that's really interesting in that side of things. And then the circular solutions, that's another big area for us these days. And we talk about sustainability being a big part of what we're doing, especially in reliability as well. And bearing remanufacturing is a big area. So if we look at some of the large size bearings, we can actually get them out, get them back to our factory over in Gothenburg, get them remanufactured and put them back in. And there's a significant cost saving there, but also it can reduce the lead time, because what you'll find in some of these big large bearings, that the lead time on them can be anywhere between 4 to 6 months. So if we can reduce that lead time significantly, reduce the cost, but also most importantly, you've got that CO2 saving. So we can give you that certificate at the end of it to see how much CO2 that you've saved. So it's another really interesting part of business there.
And I think, sorry to butt in there, but the sustainability element, circular economy is massive, especially with large global companies right now. And the cost savings are one thing, the lead time savings are another thing. But obviously, these companies are having to report on their carbon, right? What is your carbon? What are you doing to make a difference to it? And we had Audrey on the show recently where companies that are ISO accredited. The ISO accreditation is changing where the leaders of a business have to show where is it climate resilience they're looking at as part of their ISO. So even smaller companies now are going to have to start looking at this. If you're looking at getting ISO accreditation, that you're going to have some sort of climate resilience, and circular economy and all that kind of stuff comes into that. So that's a massive thing.
Yeah, no, it definitely is, and we see it more and more. Every conversation we're having with customers, we're talking more about sustainability, which is fantastic. And there's so remanufacture is just the one area as well, and then there's Recond Oil, which I know Jade's maybe talked to you about before. Yeah. It's a really interesting product in terms of oil filtration. So that's another one where it ties in where you're supporting with reliability in terms of cleaning the oil, but then also you've got that sustainability factor where we're just continuing to reuse oil. So it's a big area for us now. Even our factories going forward, we're trying to hit net zero across them. So I think some of our factories at the moment are now being able to get to net zero to an extent. We're trying to get that across all our factories globally. So yeah, really interesting from that perspective.
But no, it's great, and Alex, obviously, yeah, I've spoke to Jade a few times about the kind of Recon Oil part of the business, and it all makes sense. But it's the same as all these things. You sit and say, why have we not did this years ago? So what it just wasn't a focal point. But it's not even just the sustainability element of it; it's how much money you actually save. I mean, I don't know if you've got the figures, but what's the difference between a reconditioned bearing and a brand new one? Roughly.
So it can be anywhere up to 50%, 60% cost. It really depends on the size of the bearing and the condition. There's different service levels. So obviously, where this kind of ties into what we both do, and the services that's offered by Ailsa. So if you're carrying out, take a paper mill for example, if you're monitoring these large size bearings and you've got vibration analysis on it, you're doing your analysis, you're providing that insights. If they can get them out early enough and we can get them back to the factory, we had an example recently where there was a couple of large size bearings, and I think to buy them new was in the region about 80 grand, but you can reman them for about 30 or 40,000. So it's quite a big cost saving there. And there's a lot of life left in these bearings, and it seems such a shame to throw them away. And what you get as well, we will provide the same 12-month warranty that you would get with a standard new bearing. So it's a
what's not to like? As I say, when you look at the likes of even the rotating equipment world, where you've had motors and generators and pumps and fans and all that, they've all been getting overhauled for years, and we've just seen that it was the way that it was done. But nobody ever really overhauled a bearing, no matter what size it was. It just get cut to bits and put in the bin. So seeing this actually happen is brilliant. I'd imagine see like some main bearings and wind turbines and stuff like that.
Yeah,
because they're massive, and you can catch problems in them actually quite quickly, even though they're really slow moving bearings if you've got the right tech on it. So I'd imagine that, because I don't know how much they are, but they can't do be expensive.
They are very expensive depending on the turbine model and the size. What we found is it can be tricky because firstly you need to try and convince operators to take the turbine out of operation, which is always a challenge. So, and then it's also actually then removing the bearing. It can also be tricky depending on the design itself. So we have in some cases carried out reman, but we have found it tricky. Where we do see success though is in gearbox bearings. So some of the large size planetary gears, the bearings there, we've had them back into Gothenburg and had them remanned. So there is some pockets within the wind industry. I would say where we see the most success is in the sort of pulp and paper, the metals, these sort of segments is where it's more popular, I would say, at the moment.
We've got a client just now actually that I'm just thinking about. They've got a big kind of slew bearing, right? It's a big mass. I don't know if it's in a kind of dryer or something like that. It's in the food and bev industry. There's some issues with that. I'll get the engineer that looks after that site to have a chat with them about it and see that might be an option for them.
Yeah, no, that's a really good idea. We've also there's certain sizes we can go up to in terms of the diameter, but we can do slewing rings as well. So, and it's not just SKF bearings. Obviously, we aim to reman SKF bearings, but we can take in competitors' bearings as well. So we're not limited to that.
I didn't realise that.
Yeah. Obviously, you're limited to the level of repair that you can carry out, but we have done it in the past. So it's interesting.
And you still offer the 12-month warranty, even if it's an FAG?
Yeah, we still do.
Very good. There you go. I didn't even know that, so I've learned something today.
There you go. In certain products, you won't be able to. It just depends on the product itself. So there is a caveat in that as well. I'm not going to say that we can do every bearing and offer that 12-month warranty. So, but no, there's a lot of options.
If anybody's got a big bearing that they're looking to, they know that they've got a problem with, then reach out to you and see if it's something that you can do.
Yeah, happily. Because what we can do as well, we can have one of our service engineers come to site. So what we want to not do is load the factory up with bearings where they're beyond repair, to be honest, because that's what people are like, oh, we'll just send it across. But it takes time. We strip them, we carry out a full investigation, you get a detailed report of the findings and what we'll carry out. So to try and limit the transportation, obviously there's a transportation element there, Jamie, of having to get it back to Gothenburg. So what we can do is we can have one of our engineers come to site and actually do a first investigation on these bearings and tell you whether it'd be suitable or not.
Good. Well, that's fine. As I say, obviously we're trying to catch bearing faults as early as possible in the process. So if we find anything that's maybe of a big enough size that we think would be benefit for a kind of a potential recondition or whatever you're calling it, re-engineering, remanufacture, we'll let you know, because I think it's an option to offer people.
It definitely is. And as you said, everybody's got sustainability targets now as well, and it ties in really nicely. You've got the cost saving, you've got the reduction in lead time, and then you've got your sustainability saving. So in some cases it can be a no-brainer, but what's important is it's probably one of the hardest parts is getting the bearing out before it gets beyond repair.
Yeah.
And that's where companies like yourself come into place with your vibration analysis and the service that you offer. So
Right,
yeah,
okay.
it's a big one.
It's all good. It's again, it's if it can happen, then it's a winner for everybody. Cheaper, more sustainable, reduces their carbon footprint. So, why wouldn't you? But as you say, the challenge is getting it out before it's wrecked.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's getting it out. It's always the tricky part, but there is a lot of opportunity that, especially in the sort of the bigger industries like pulp and paper, where they are monitoring their assets, and they have been for a long, long time. They're probably one of the more advanced industries when it comes to condition monitoring, I guess you could say. Maybe some industries are trying to catch up and get to that level, so maybe miss out on the opportunity for Reman.
Yeah, because I actually couldn't believe it that obviously when we started kind of getting into this, obviously we've been involved in about rotating equipment for a long, long time, but then going and looking at condition monitoring, solely condition monitoring and reliability, the paper industry seemed to be miles ahead of everybody. They had their own teams in place and strategies in place. Like when you look at UPM and stuff like that, they've got a full team in there that's doing it, whereas most other places didn't have. They would just a third party that out to somebody, and some cases were just ticking a box, whereas the paper industry seemed to actually have embraced the whole philosophy quite quickly.
They definitely have. They've been around for a long time. I think when the reason I got into condition monitoring was when I worked for WGM at the time, and it was Ian Farrell. Ian Farrell used to work in the paper mills down there, so he had a background in condition monitoring because they'd been doing it for a long time. So then that's what he introduced me into condition monitoring, and explained to me what they used to do in the paper mills, and then that's how I started to get a little bit of interest into it, and then eventually started doing my dissertation on condition monitoring. So it's funny how it all works.
Look at you now.
Look at me now. I have to sell it.
You're running about all Europe trying to sell it to everybody and sell this. Let's stop it breaking.
Yeah.
Which is a great philosophy, but it'd be all right if everybody was on that page just now. But they still get so many sectors that are just running about chasing their backsides because they're firefighting because they've just not got into the mentality of it yet. But we're seeing obviously a big change in a lot of these sectors where the reliability is becoming a kind of focal point. The same as sustainability, they're both becoming a focal point in these companies. So hopefully when you look back in 10 years' time, we can sit down and say, well, all that work that we put in here has actually made a difference because people are now on a digital journey. People are now gathering data and actually using that data. It's not just data for data's sake. People are now looking at how they can be more sustainable and how they run their operations because they've got better access to data. Because the data is the thing; it's the data is the valuable part of it. And as you have done with your kind of observer software, it's trying to pull all that data together so as people can make decisions on the back of it.
Exactly, and I think that we're in a world where we have so much data now, and it's trying to get the right data, and then it's acting on that data that you have. It's a tricky one. I mean, I spent this week down with Angling Water at one of their operational strategy meetings, and we were talking about data and the amount of data that they have to look at on a daily basis, the amount of streams. So it's trying to prioritize what is the key data that we need to look at that provides that insight so that we take action and improve what we're doing. And it's the same with a lot of customers. We're just overwhelmed with data, aren't we, at the moment?
Yeah, and that's, as I say, I think we kind of showed you through before. So ours is capturing data, and that what we do is it's either us teaching the client or using a technology like SKF or whoever's technology to gather the data. It's the management bit of that data that then becomes a real added value. So we're pulling all the data streams together into Eels Vision to try and then give it one visualization where, because right now, I mean, we've got sites where it would be probably 6 different data streams.
Wow.
So 6 different technologies. So they've never got the time to look at all those 6 different technologies, 6 softwares, 6 logins, 6 this, 6 and 6 skill sets in some senses as well. So it's trying to make the management of that data as easy as possible for people, so they can just go, I can see that's a problem. This is what I need to do about it. That's the bit that makes it, that adds a value and can be quite difficult because, as you say, people are swamped in data. And what data is the most important to me right now, and what do I need to action on?
No, definitely. I think, I mean, it's fantastic what you've done with Ailsa Vision and been able to pull that in. I think from an SKF perspective, obviously, we focus purely on vibration, while the way that you work as a business, and you're implementing so many interesting technologies, as we talked about the ESA and thermography and all sorts. So if you're to then leave a customer with all these 6 different softwares, it becomes a minefield, and they can't manage it. So being able to streamline it into that one platform where that's their portal, that's where they go to, and then they've got those insights for them to act on. It's so crucial. And we see it more and more. I mean, we work with a lot of customers who have implemented various condition monitoring providers. So you might go to site and they've got 3 or 4 different technologies, and they've got four software platforms that they need to remember login details for, which is always the hardest part. And then it's been able
Yeah.
to then be trained on each of those platforms. So it's definitely an issue, isn't it?
And also be able to understand. So my view of, see us as a condition monitoring stroke reliability business, you're there to take people's problems away, no add more to it. So
Yeah.
yes, you're giving them access to data. Yes, you're giving them access to all these different fancy technologies, but you're also giving them a pain in the ass, right? To try and, as you say, try and log into them all, try and understand them all, try and remember what they all mean, all the rest of it. It becomes too challenging for folk, and nearly every single sector out there, the people that need to make the decisions on the back of this data don't have time for all that,
Yeah.
right?
No.
They are really, they are, one, the skills gap is getting larger in that area. Two, people have been asked to do more, so that it's not as if you've got maintenance teams out there, they've got hundreds of capacity.
Yeah.
So you're trying to put these systems and solutions in place to try and make their life easier and take away their pain, not add more complexity to their life.
No,
They just want
exactly.
to do it.
No, it's definitely that is the case. And I mean, we've got an example of a water company just now, and we've been
Oh, what has happened there? I don't know. Are you back? Well, if you can still hear me and see me, I don't know what's happened. The joys of technology. It looks like I'm still live, but it looks like Alan's fell out. Right, Alan has joined. Add to the stream. Glad I never said any bad words here. Right, are you there, Alan? Hello, hello. No, he's not there. The joys of technology. Right, try and add them to the stream again. If you're still with us, I'll just sit here and chat to you and see if we can get it while we're waiting on Alan coming in. While
Am
he's
I
not
back
here, I'll
yet?
just talk about them. Oh, you're back. You're
I'm
back.
back. There's 2 of me now
Right.
though. What's going on
There's
here?
2 of you now, right? I'll see if I can delete this other kind of kid-on version of you. Right.
Apologies for that, guys.
It's all right. Do you know what happened? No, because I'm sitting here going,
Yeah.
I know what's happened.
No, it's because the good old SKF IT has blocked the link, so I can't use it on my laptop. So I'm on my iPad, and it's linked to my phone. So someone's tried to phone me, and as soon as I've tried to decline it, it's just frozen. So
Right. So listen, anybody that knows Alan, don't
don't
phone him
phone me.
again for
No.
at least another 15 minutes because we're on live, right? So don't phone him. Saying everybody that knows you, Alan, should be watching right now. So they should know you're on
Exactly.
live. So if they're not watching it and they're phoning you, what you need to do is do what I do and phone them up and go like, excuse me, how much of a friend of mine are you? Right, I'm on the live TV show right now and you're trying to phone me.
Exactly. That's it. Where did we get to? I got lost my train of thought there.
We got to data and how basically you're trying to take away problems for clients rather than give them more complexity to their life.
Yeah, exactly. But there's also, I was trying to, what I was going to move on to, there was the point of we're working with a customer just now where they've rolled out a lot of technology from an asset management perspective. The asset management team or asset health team, they've done a fantastic job. But now what we're trying to get is the buy-in from the engineers on the ground, actually doing the work who are going to be collecting the data, but also then reacting to what we're telling them and providing insights. And it's such a big challenge. It just takes time because they feel initially that you're potentially giving them more work, but then you need to convince them that that's not the case. Is what we're trying to do is make you more proactive
You go.
instead of reactive.
Right, okay.
Oh,
Blah blah. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you now. Yeah, you sort of stopped there, I'm afraid.
I went through a wee bit of slow motion thing, so it was quite good though. Quite enjoyed listening to you. Motion.
Was it slow motion? Did you not hear anything I said there? No,
Go
they
for
were
it
just
again.
chatting.
Aye, just
Go
chatting.
for
I
it
was just
again. Now,
watching.
What we're saying is we're working with a company at the moment, and a challenge that we see as well. So it's, you talked about giving people more work, but it's not the case. Is we're working with an asset health team who have implemented a lot of technology and done a really great work, but then to the engineers and the maintenance teams on the ground, those guys are going to be the ones who are going to be collecting the data, but
Yeah,
they feel that potentially you're giving them more work, but actually
yeah,
it's not the case. What we're trying to do is make them more proactive than reactive. And you
yeah.
start to now see over a period of time, it's taken that little bit of time, and now they're coming on board and they're like, oh, this is excellent, this is a really good idea, we want more of this. When are you coming to my patch, for example?
We get it all the time. That's our life. We go into sites and if people haven't really had any of this kind of stuff done before, they're just going, oh, you're either trying to take my job, or you're trying to give me more work, blah blah blah. There's all these challenges. There always is because it's change. But then the maintenance teams realise that, do you know what? We're now just going and doing things that need done rather than us running around doing PMs that don't need done or doing change outs that don't need done or doing work that maybe doesn't need done and you don't get a chance to focus on the things that are actually going to happen because you're just doing all this time-based maintenance and stuff like that. So yes, I 100% agree with you that it becomes a journey. And at the beginning of that journey, there can be a lot of people that are maybe a bit negative on it, but what you find is those ones that are maybe the most negative at the beginning become the biggest advocates going forward because they realise it's making their life easier.
Exactly, that is the case, and it's also shown the value that's been added. So, what's the cost savings that have been there? What have you prevented the type of failures? And then once you start to get the buy-in from them, they see the benefits of it. They come on board more. So it's interesting, but it takes a bit of time. A lot of training required as well. Obviously, been one area.
Yeah, and the thing is, obviously, the people that are doing a lot of the work, sometimes they're not really that bothered about the money saving because it's not their budget in some senses. They're just there to do the work. But what they want is their life made easier. So if you make the person that's doing the work's life easier, then save the person that's sitting as a budget holder money, and then obviously the sustainability team reducing their carbon footprint. There's quite a few people that are kind of key stakeholders in what we do and what we deliver as a solutions, should we say? And it's trying to make sure that you can actually make it good for everybody. Which is all right. It's saying, we can save you all this money, and then the guy that's doing the work goes, aye, but it's a complete pain in my backside. It's causing me all this extra work. So it's making sure that they all see the value in it as part of the stakeholders kind of
Yeah, yeah.
team, should we say?
No, definitely. It's you need that. It takes time. It's not a quick process. But you need, what we find is, if in an organisation, if you get the one person internally who can run with it and push it and promote it, and eventually you'll start to see success, which is always nice to see. But it's always hard. It can be difficult at times to get that.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I would say as well, that obviously the conversation that we've been having and what I liked about the SKF kind of the divisions that you've got set up is there's other companies out there that just sell lots of sensors and stuff like that, but they just sell boxes to people, right?
Yeah.
But selling the box isn't the answer, as you know, because somebody will buy the box and then realise they've not got time to look at the data or analyse it or do anything with it. And then something fails, and then everybody's like, oh, you invested all this money in these solutions and it's still failing. No understanding that it's not just a stick it on and forget about it. It's
Exactly.
you need to put it on, you need to have people that are skilled and the time to analyse the data and be able to actually follow the process rather than just shoving a sensor on it and then walking away and hoping that it will give you all the answers.
Exactly, and that's what we want to do. I mean, as I mentioned before, when it comes to the technology, we've got quite a lot of different technology, in my opinion, good technology that can help our customers. But again, they need support in the background there initially, whether it be with the setup, whether it be the training, the introduction to it, whether it be like a knowledge sharing before we pass it across to the customer. So we don't want to just sell sensors and them to roll out and then their assets fail, because that looks bad on us. It means it makes them look our sensors are rubbish, which is not the case. So that's not what we want to get to.
Yeah.
But then for the other point
Yeah,
for me, Jamie,
and
it's
this is what
then.
we've said all along. Oh,
No, sorry,
sorry,
on you go.
there's a wee delay on you go.
Okay, no, what
Aye.
I was saying is the other point
Well,
for me is. Can I go?
sorry, you go. There is a delay. You just keep going.
There is a delay. No worries. What I was saying, another point for me is it's that we can offer the technology, we can offer the service, the remote analysis. Companies like yourself can offer the exact same thing. But where we see our added value is from it's the root cause. So if you're getting reoccurring failures and assets, if it's a reoccurring bearing problem, then well, why can't we help you? We've got a large team of engineers internally in terms of can carry out a root cause failure analysis. We can look at potential upgrades in the bearing, because not every bearing that's installed is the correct one. There's a lot of improvements that have been made or potential upgrades. Same with the lubrication system, same with alignment, and same with sealing solutions. We have that supporting solutions, which I fit under from a service perspective, but other areas like the lubrications, the seals, we can bring these teams in and support our customers there. And that's what the added value is. I mean, everybody, there's lots of sensors out in the market, as you know yourself, some good, some interesting, some really expensive. But the way we see is how we differentiate ourselves is the supporting functions we have additional to it.
Well, one of the things that I really liked when I was up seeing you guys was your smart lubricators.
Yeah.
Because obviously lubrication is a key thing in basically any industry that's got bearings. Make sure you get a lubrication right. And obviously we do auto lubes and various different things at the moment. But some of the kind of lubrication stuff that you guys are doing, I think is quite interesting. And the smart lubricators and stuff like that. As I say, I can see a real big market for that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think the last couple of years we introduced the TLDD, which is our connected single point lubricator, which is we've seen some good progress with it in the market, and it's interesting. I mean, obviously we've had the single point lubricators in the market for a long time, the sort of gas driven ones and the electromechanical, but I think what we find quite a lot, and you'll see it yourself, is when you go around to a lot of sites, how many auto lubes you see that are installed that are either empty or they're full. Empty because we've not changed them because there's not been a PM in, or because they're full because there's been a blockage, but you don't know. And what we wanted to try and do is to then make that connected, so we can bring it back to a platform where you can remotely monitor. You can get any notifications if there is a blockage or if there's empty. You'll get an email to say it, and you'll also be able to log into the platform. You can see the fill rate, and the big thing for me is you've got the option to turn them off. So like, for example, if your asset's going offline for a period down for a shutdown, you can go into the system and you can set it to 0. And then when it's gone back up and running, you can come back in and configure it again. So it's a really interesting product.
That's massive. We see in quite a lot of sites, especially you've got a lot of machines that are due to standby. You've got a lot of machines that are kind of batch controlled and stuff like that as well. So it's trying to get the kind of right running hours to have a time-based lubrication strategy for these types of
Yeah.
machines, which can be challenging. So being able to actually control a lubricator remotely, just aligning with the process data that you've got, I think it is a massive benefit.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's an interesting product, and you can, if you tie it in with the vibration analysis as well. So if you've got your sensors on it, you're analysing it, you know you're getting the correct lubrication, you know there's no problem with your lubricants. It's going to give you a great picture of the health of your asset, and give you that sort of assurance that it is running and behaving correctly.
You would think somebody would have made a software that could bring all these data streams in together and actually overlay them all against each other. There's maybe a
Well,
market for that.
maybe a market for that. Maybe a market for that. Well, that's the thing as well. You've got the API functionality, so you can take that data back in and pull it into EOSA
Yeah.
Vision.
Yeah,
So
and that's our plan with them, is that obviously we're looking at scalability across like whole sites, and what you've got is, like, so you've got wired vibration systems, wireless, putting smart lubrication on, ESA, all these different technologies all coming together, and you might have that you've got like large machines that have maybe got 3, 4, 5 different technologies on it together, but the only way that you're going to be able to give a true health assessment of that machine is by all of these data streams being reflective of each other, should we say. So the vibration is that's what the ESA is telling us, that's what the lubrication is looking like, blah, blah, blah. And then that gives you a full electromechanical health assessment. And it really reduces the risk of failure because you've got all these data streams that are all aligned with each other.
yeah, I mean, it's the beauty of your business, and what you can do is you can implement all those technologies and bring them all into one platform. So it gives you such a nice overview. And I guess it's going to be different asset to asset, and the technologies that you implement as well. But from an SKF
Yeah.
perspective, obviously, you know yourself, we heavily rely on vibration analysis, and that's our core condition monitoring technology, and that's what we've developed everything around. But from your perspective and what you can do with ESA and thermography and everything else, it gives you that
Yeah.
such a great overall asset health picture.
Yeah, see your quick collects, because I've looked at the quick collect, and obviously, see, from a site that's just trying to gather data themselves, I think that looks like a fantastic product. Is that quite are you guys selling a lot of them?
We are. I would say it's probably one of the largest product lines, and the reason I
Yeah.
say that is it's the usability. It's so simple, Jamie. It's like you can. There's not a huge amount of training, and see when you tie in the quick collect sensor, so you can buy the quick collect sensor on its own, and there's a free app called Quick Collect, and you can go out and take spot readings, and it's going to give you a nice overall, and it's ideal. But if you pair it up with the Enlight Center software, and that's quite a user-friendly software. It's easy to build your hierarchies and your routes. And for an engineer to go out, they've got the routes already been set up for them. They go out, they collect their measurement, and on their iPhone or their Android, you've got basically your free measurements or whatever you've configured it to be, and you're getting a red, amber, green. So you're getting that instant, all right, maybe it is red, so maybe I've got a problem here. To add a bit of grease, what should I be doing? A wee bit of an investigation. And that's where we see a lot of customers who want to get into vibration analysis. It's an easy route. It's a good starting point. It's maybe not aimed at the reliability engineers,
Oh.
where you would go out with a bigger, more advanced data collector like the DBX, for example. But for entry level, to get customers to get on board with vibration analysis and collecting your own data, it's a really great tool.
Right. And we've obviously looked at quite a lot of those kind of entry-level data collectors, and a lot of them are absolute rubbish. I'll be honest with you. You as well with the old screwdriver at the ear scenario, but yours does seem to be a lot more functionally capable and easy to use than some of the other ones at the market. And as I say, when we had a play about it, we went, "Do you know what? See if it's somebody that's just wanting to try and get some data themselves, to at least give them an idea at the time when they need to phone someone, because it's perfect."
Exactly. And we see it. So, for example, take marine, Jamie. Marine, obviously, you've got vessels travel around the world, and you're wanting engineers on board to collect their own data. So, you want to give them something that's easy to use, it doesn't take too long, and it's not complex. And something like the Quick Collect sensor, it covers a large amount of their assets. And then if the data comes back to SKF, we can analyse it remotely. It's the exact same in any other industry. So, for example, your customers, if they want to start collecting their own data, you could use the Quick Collect sensor. You've got access to that software, which will be integrated into EOSA Vision. So you've got a nice, easy solution. It's maybe not the more you're going to put it on all you're going to use it for your critical applications, but for a lot of your products, a lot of your machines and assets, it will cover it. So it's interesting.
Yeah. No, definitely. definitely. As I say, we obviously we've got relationships with some distributors that work with you guys. So when we come to, if we say to somebody, right, okay, get yourself a quick collect, we would just get one of the distributors to deal with them. But the fact that we can then kind of keep an eye on the data for them, because none of these distributors really have the kind of data analysis kind of capabilities, and that's
Exactly.
not really their bag. But what they can do is they
Yeah.
can sell the products to them, they can sell them the quick collect system, and then we're still then available to support them in the background as and when needed. It makes
Yeah,
sense.
exactly. It makes sense, and it's a cost-effective solution for you to make a quick difference within your plant or your factory, whatever it may be, because you can get set up pretty quickly. It doesn't take long at all, especially if you've got then like
Yeah.
software in the background, and that's where you come in to support them. And if you can then carry out the remote analysis, and it's got a lot of functionality, the Enlight Center software in the background as well. So you tie that into Ailsa Vision, and you've got a nice workaround, if you get me.
Right. Well, good, good. Right, well, we're kind of a wee bit over the time, which I was going to try and keep today to half an hour, but I knew it was never going to happen. I mean, Audrey, she can actually keep to the time scale. I just blather, so
Leather.
it's never going to happen. Well, is there anything else you think it's worth talking about the SKF services, solutions, the what you do that we've not spoke about yet?
No, I think we've covered everything. I think the key point for me is to show what I want to try and show you today is SKS more than a bearing company. Like, we're obviously our key goal. We want to help our customers reduce friction. By that, then we can support them with their overall reliability of their assets, but also then you've got that sustainability function there as well, where we're helping them reduce the amount of energy they're using. But we do that by all the other functions in the background. So the bearings is a core part, but we also can support, whether it be from the condition monitoring, the lubrication, or the seals. So that's the key thing for me. It's just try and get a different perspective on SKF. We are brilliant at making bearings, but we do a lot more. And we work with a
Aye.
lot of partners who can support us as well, like yourself.
Nah, good, good. So the strap line is you're there to reduce friction.
Exactly. That's what I do. If you look at SKF's purpose, we want to reimagine rotation for a better tomorrow. And what we're saying there is it's trying to reduce friction. That's what our overall aim goal is. And if we can help our customers and reduce their CO2 and look at that reduction of the carbon footprint, that's what it's all about. And that's what we're trying to get to. And we're making progress, which is great.
Well, just a quick one to finish off then. So, see, obviously, you've got some key sectors that you work within at the moment within your the services division. So, what are they, and are they the one? Is there any industries that you're trying to get into?
Interesting. So I think naturally with SKF, we're in any industry that rotates. So we're quite
Yeah.
lucky and fortunate about that because we're in most industries. I think the big industries from a service perspective, obviously water industry, there's a lot going on there in the UK at the minute, with the customers trying to look to maintain their assets and improve reliability. Oil and gas has been around for a long time, as you know, the wind segment, and then heavy industries, pulp and paper, metals. They're the sort of the big target areas for ourselves. But as I said, we're there everywhere, and that's where the products come in. So you might have, for example, the quick collect sensor might be fantastic in food and beverage, but then the fixed online systems, we've got loads of them in metals or pulp and paper because you've got bigger, more critical applications, so you can justify it.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's
Back,
interesting
back,
times.
yeah, back to there isn't a one size fits all.
Exactly that. Exactly that. It's not one size fits all in terms of vibration analysis and sensors, but also technologies, as you know.
Aye. Aye.
So it's
Aye,
good.
it's the same as you wouldn't. There's certain applications that you would put one of your sensors on, but there's maybe other things that you wouldn't because of X, Y, and Z. It's the same as that. There's like, so you would maybe have a temperature's more important is just as important as the vibration, so that might determine that. So it's understanding the challenge. I think that's the main thing. But obviously, you guys have went about it in the right way, where you're trying to bring in all these different skills and capabilities within your business to try and, as you say, help reduce friction, and put solutions in place to try and make it happen.
Exactly. And that's what we're trying to get to. And as I said, we don't want to go out there and sell sensors for the sake of selling sensors. We want it to be the right application, so the customers are getting benefits out of it.
Good, mate. Good. All right. Brilliant. Listen, this has been good. Actually, only having a couple of wee technical glitches. I was actually quite surprised at, and I'm actually quite happy about. Um, So I think I might actually do this again another time because obviously poor odds has been pulled in to do shows when I'm not here.
everywhere.
Aye, so it's been all right. It's been okay for you.
It's been good. It's been great. Thank you very much for having me on. It's a really good discussion. And I'm looking forward to my breakfast at Grow.
No problem. So I think no next week, but the week after we'll get down there, get you to Grow, take you in, get you the VIP treatment since you never got it on the show.
That sounds like a plan.
All right, no, brilliant. Listen, Alan, thanks very much. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time and we'll go and get something to eat at Grow and then we can maybe actually see if there's any customers that we can go and see.
Sounds like a plan, sir.
All right,
Lovely.
Magic, thanks again. Right,
Cheers.
I'll just end this. I think you just stay there and then we can see if this actually works.
All right, okay.
Right, bye everybody. So people who are still watching, thank you very much for watching. People are watching this back. Thank you very much for watching. Because what happens, Alan, is we've got a few weekend warriors that watch the show at the weekend, so they don't get a chance to watch it live because they actually do work at lunchtime on a Friday. So they keep telling me. But we'll anybody that's still watching it, thank you. People that have stayed with this show today, even with some of the technical glitches, thank you, and hope everybody has a lovely weekend. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.